watching Susan Slept Here felt like I was hit in the face with Triple H's sledgehammer, which really is the only way to properly explain Babes in Toyland, because as I was recovering from said sledgehammer shot, a bunch of colors were going everywhere. There may have been a couple of birds flying and tweeting in my ear, and my eyes might as well have just been on tilt. That's the best way I can describe Babes in Toyland. The movie is nowhere near offensive, but just the entire time I was just sitting there and I was thinking to myself,
why are you the way that you are?
from what I can glean, the movie is about a man named Tom Piper and a woman named Mary Contrary, which I never understood the reference of Mary, Mary, quite contrary before until now, so at least I know that. They're set to get married, and there are these people who want to kill Tom so that they can steal Mary's sheep. I think I'm I don't know. I don't want to come across as too overly harsh here, because this movie legitimately, like from a visual standpoint, it looks quite impressive. For early 60s, the sets and the musical numbers I thought were actually pretty good. I'll always like have a ton of respect for set designers and just generally just like looking like things looking cool. Like, if not maybe looking super like realistic, at least looking cool. And Toyland legitimately is like, all right, that looks fun at the very least. But again, it feels like it's just a bunch of isolated ideas with like traces of a story, but overall it's a weird trip. The biggest compliment that I can give to this movie outside of the visuals is seeing Ed Wynn. Now, Ed Wynn is a name that may not stand out right away, but he had a long and lengthy career, especially at Disney. He was the original voice of the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland, the original one, not this piece of crap. And then he would later go on to be Uncle Albert in the live-action Mary Poppins. So yeah, the dude had a lot of clout at Disney, and his infectious energy at least put a little pep in my step. He was at least trying, God bless him. And it was also nice to see Ray Bolger as the main villain. He was Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. So nice to see him, but just, again, it feels like the movie has no real plot. It just feels like a bunch of very bright and colorful musical numbers with no real substance beyond that. And I love a good musical. But a good musical has a great story along with great music numbers. This has at least passable music numbers that shows that these actors are at least trying, but again, just nothing below the surface. This movie is literally as wide as an ocean, but as deep as a puddle. I get if people like this one, especially like that like late 50s, early 60s Disney when they were doing pretty well, but just this movie is just so weird and it has no reason to be.